Admiral Hannah Kim stood on the observation deck of Mining Station 7, watching the alien inspection team approach through the viewport. The Galactic Council representatives moved with the typical arrogance she had come to expect from their kind. Their sleek silver ships gleamed against the dark backdrop of space, a stark contrast to the rusty, worn appearance of the human mining vessels scattered around the asteroid field. "Remember, everyone," Hannah spoke into her device. "We are simple miners. Nothing more, nothing less." The lead alien ship docked with a metallic clang that echoed through the station. Ambassador Thrix, a tall blue-skinned Velkin with 4 arms and cold yellow eyes, stepped through the airlock. His elegant robes marked him as nobility among his people. Behind him came 3 other council members, each representing different alien species that controlled the galaxy. "Humans," Thrix said, his voice carrying the usual tone of disgust. "We are here for the mandatory inspection of your mining operations." Hannah bowed her head slightly, playing her role perfectly. "Of course, Ambassador. We are honored by your visit. Please let me show you our humble facilities." The group moved through the station corridors. Everything looked exactly as it should for a basic mining operation. The walls were grimy, the equipment appeared outdated, and the human workers wore simple coveralls stained with their dust. The aliens wrinkled their noses at the smell of industrial lubricants and unwashed bodies. "Your technology remains as primitive as ever," noted Counselor Vex, a reptilian being, with scales that changed color with his mood. Currently, they showed pale green, indicating mild amusement. "These fusion drives are centuries behind our own designs. We make do with what we have," Hannah replied humbly. "The Council has been generous in allowing us to work these asteroids." 8. Beneath the surface of the asteroid, hidden behind layers of rock and sophisticated camouflage systems, Chief Engineer June Park monitored the inspection through hidden cameras. His team of 300 engineers and technicians continued their work in absolute silence. The space around them was vast, carved out over 30 years of secret construction. "They have no idea," whispered Dr. Yuna Lee, head of the camouflage division. She stood next to massive quantum field generators that made their true activities invisible to all known scanning methods. "To them, we are still the same primitive humans they discovered 200 years ago." The asteroid they worked within was no ordinary space rock. It was humanity's greatest achievement, a planet-sized warship disguised as a natural celestial body. The Titan-class vessel stretched for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. Its hull was made from materials that did not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. Forged in secret laboratories hidden throughout human space, above them the inspection continued. Ambassador Thrix examined the mining equipment with obvious boredom. "Your extraction rates remain acceptable," he said, "though barely. Perhaps we should assign more efficient species to these operations." "We work hard to meet the quotas," Hannah responded. "Our people take pride in honest labor." The aliens laughed. To them, humans were a useful slave race, good for dangerous work that other species refused to do. They had no idea that humanity had been playing a carefully planned game for over a century. Worker Nam Sul approached the group, his face streaked with dirt and sweat. He carried a container of raw or struggling under its weight. "Sorry to interrupt," he said breathlessly. "Just need to get this to the processing unit." "Clumsy as always," Thrix commented, watching Nam Sul stumble slightly. "What? It amazes me that your species survived long enough to reach the stars." What the aliens could not see was the advanced neural implant hidden behind Namsul's ear. Every human worker carried one, linking them to the ship's quantum consciousness network. Namsul was actually Commander Namsul, one of the finest tactical officers in the human fleet. His stumbling was carefully calculated to reinforce the aliens' low opinion of human coordination. The inspection group moved to the mining bays, where huge machines appeared to be carving chunks of rock from the asteroid walls. The noise was deafening, and the aliens covered their ears in annoyance. "Such crude methods," shouted Counselor Vex over the noise. "No finesse, no elegance, just brute force." "What?" "It gets the job done," Hannah shouted back. What they were actually witnessing was the installation of the ship's final weapon systems. Massive constructs that looked like mining equipment were actually planetary-scale railguns capable of accelerating projectiles to significant fractions of light speed. Each weapon could destroy a moon-sized target from across a solar system. In the hidden control room, Engineer Mira Cho monitored the power levels of the ship's main reactor. The fusion plants the aliens had seen were decoys. The real power source was a controlled black hole, contained within a gravity manipulation field that existed in folded space. The energy output was enough to power a small star. Core temperature. Holding steady, she reported quietly. All systems running at optimal efficiency. The inspection lasted 3 hours. The aliens examined every visible system, took readings with their scanning equipment, and questioned the human workers. Everything they saw confirmed their existing beliefs about human technological limitations. As the group prepared to leave, Ambassador Thrix addressed Hannah one final time. Your people continue to serve the Council adequately. Do not let this modest success make you forget your place in the Galactic Order. Never, Ambassador, Hannah replied, keeping her voice steady. We are grateful for the opportunity to contribute to galactic civilization. The alien ships departed, their engines creating brilliant streaks of light as they accelerated away from the asteroid field. Hannah remained on the observation deck until their signatures disappeared from the sensors. All clear, she announced. Over the CUM system, throughout the hidden sections of the ship, 300 human personnel dropped their disguises. The greatest deception in galactic history continued successfully. The aliens had no idea that they had just inspected one of 150 planet-sized warships secretly constructed by humanity over the past 30 years. Dr. Yuna. Lee joined Hannah on the observation deck. Another successful inspection, she said with satisfaction. They still see us as primitive miners. Good, Hannah replied, her eyes cold with determination. Let them keep believing that. The day of revelation is coming soon enough. The depths of space. The disguised warship continued its patient orbit, waiting for the signal that would change the fate of the galaxy forever. Captain Daesong stood on the bridge of what appeared to be a luxury cruise liner called the Harmony Dawn. Wealthy aliens from across the galaxy paid enormous sums to travel aboard. Human vessels, considering it an exotic experience to see how the primitive species lived. The ship's interior was decorated with fake wood panels and soft lighting that gave it a quaint, old-fashioned appearance. Captain, we have another group of Zephyrian tourists boarding at Deck 7, reported his first officer, Lieutenant Sujin. Her uniform was designed to look simple and outdated. It's complete with fabric patches that suggested frequent repairs. Thank you, Lieutenant, Day replied, adjusting his worn captain's hat. Make sure they feel welcome. After all, their credits help fund our operations. The Zephyrian tourists, tall beings with silver skin and crystalline eyes, walked through the ship's corridors with obvious amusement. They pointed at the primitive control panels and laughed at the inefficient design of the human vessel. What they did not know was that every surface they touched was scanning their biological signatures, recording their conversations, and analyzing their technology. In the ship's hidden command center, 50 levels below the tourist decks, the real bridge hummed with advanced technology. Holographic displays showed the positions of 150 disguised warships scattered throughout the galaxy. Each vessel maintained its cover identity while secretly coordinating with the others through quantum communication networks. All stations reporting in, announced Communications Officer Kai Bei, his fingers dancing across controls that existed in folded space. The network is fully operational. The Harmony Dawn was actually the command vessel for humanity's greatest secret project. For 30 years, engineer Miracho had been overseeing the construction of planet-sized warships hidden throughout the galaxy. Each ship was built inside hollowed-out asteroids, abandoned moons, or even small planets whose populations had been secretly relocated to specially constructed habitats. Show me the status board, Day commanded. A massive three-dimensional map appeared in the center of the hidden bridge. Green dots represented fully operational Titan-class vessels. Yellow dots showed ships still under construction. Red dots indicated locations where human populations had been moved to safety in preparation for the coming conflict. Project Titan is 97% complete, reported Chief Engineer Wan Kong. The remaining ships will be ready within 2 weeks. Day nodded with satisfaction. 30 years of careful planning was finally bearing fruit. The project had begun when the Galactic Council first restricted human expansion beyond their designated zones. While appearing to comply with the restrictions, humanity had been secretly building the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen: intelligence. Officer Min Seo approached the captain with a concerned expression. "Sir, we have received troubling reports from our agents within the council chambers. General Vex has been pushing for more aggressive action against human colonies." "What kind of action?" Day asked. "Complete subjugation. They view us as a junior species that has grown to independent. The council believes we need to be reminded of our place in the galactic order." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. For 2 centuries, humans had been treated as second-class citizens, suitable only for dangerous labor and resource extraction. They were denied access to advanced technology, restricted to specific star systems, and forbidden from developing their own military beyond basic system defense forces. "How long do we have?" Day asked. "Our sources indicate the Council will issue an ultimatum within the month: complete surrender or face military action." Day walked to the massive viewport that dominated one wall of the hidden bridge. The stars looked peaceful, but he knew that war was coming. The Council had no idea what they were about to face. "Signal all Titan-class vessels," he ordered. "Operation Revelation enters final phase. All ships are to complete their preparations and await the activation signal." Throughout the galaxy, the message was received by ship commanders who had spent decades maintaining their disguises. On the mining station where Admiral Hannah Kim waited, the crew began final preparations. In the Outer Rim, where Captain Jai Park commanded a vessel disguised as a medical research station, systems came online that had been dormant for years. Dr. Yuna Lee, now aboard the Harmony Dawn, reviewed the technical specifications of their camouflage systems. "The quantum masking technology has exceeded all expectations," she reported. "Council scanning equipment cannot detect our true nature even at close range." "What about their new sensor arrays?" asked Day. "Completely ineffective. We have been monitoring their technological development for decades. Their science has stagnated while ours advanced in secret." The truth was that humanity had been preparing for this moment since their first contact with the Galactic Council. While appearing to be grateful for the aliens' guidance, human scientists had been studying every piece of technology they encountered. Secret research facilities hidden throughout human space had been developing advances that put them centuries ahead of their supposed masters. "The irony is beautiful," commented engineer Mira Cho, joining the group. "They kept us isolated to prevent us from becoming a threat. Instead, the isolation gave us the freedom to develop without interference."
Ow.
Titan-class vessel was a masterpiece of engineering that combined technologies the Council had never imagined. Their hulls were constructed from materials that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Their power systems tapped directly into the quantum foam that underlies reality itself. Their weapons could manipulate space-time, creating effects that appeared to violate the laws of physics. "Captain," called out sensor operator Hai Jung, "we are receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command." "Put it through," Day ordered. The image of Fleet Admiral Sarah Oh appeared on the main screen. Her expression was grim but determined. "All vessel commanders, this is your final briefing. The Council has issued their ultimatum. We have 72 hours to surrender all human military assets and accept full Council oversight of our colonies." Bridge crew exchanged glances. They had known this day would come. "Obviously, we will not be surrendering," Admiral O continued. "Instead, we will be revealing the truth about human capabilities. The galaxy is about to learn that we are not the primitive species they believed us to be." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in thoughtful silence. 30 years of preparation had led to this moment. The galaxy would soon discover that humanity had been playing a very long game, and they were about to reveal their hand. All stations prepare for Operation Revelation, Day announced. "The age of human subjugation is about to end." Fleet Admiral Sira O stood on the bridge of the human flagship Endurance, watching the massive alien armada approach the Rigel system. The Galactic Council had brought 12 different species to witness what they believed would be humanity's final humiliation. Thousands of warships filled the space around the binary stars, their hulls gleaming with weapon systems and energy shields. "Impressive display," commented Captain Hoon Jung, standing beside the Admiral. "They really want to make sure we understand our place. Let them have their moment," Sira replied calmly. "It will make the revelation all the more shocking." Human fleet looked pathetic in comparison. 50 outdated cruisers and frigates hung in space like broken toys next to the alien armada. Their hulls were scarred and patched, their weapon systems clearly outmatched by the Council forces. Any observer would assume the humans had brought their entire military strength to this final confrontation. War Master Crix, Supreme Commander of the Council forces, opened communications. His massive form appeared on the main screen. 8 feet tall, with 4 arms and skin like black metal, a species, the Dominion, had conquered hundreds of worlds and enslaved dozens of other races. "Humans," Crix spoke with obvious satisfaction. "You have defied the Council for the last time. Your unauthorized expansion into restricted sectors ends today. You will surrender unconditionally or face complete annihilation." Admiral Sira O stepped forward, her simple uniform a stark contrast to the elaborate battle armor worn by the alien commander. "War Master Crix, we have come to discuss terms." "There are no terms," Crix replied harshly. "Total surrender or total destruction. Choose quickly." Behind the War Master, representatives from the 12 Council species watched with anticipation. The Velkans, with their blue skin and 4 arms, the Zephyrians, with their crystalline eyes and silver bodies, Akraxi, with their reptilian features and color-changing scales. All of them had spent centuries viewing humans as an inferior species suitable only for manual labor. "I need to consult with my officers," Sira said diplomatically. "May I have a few minutes to consider your generous offer?" Crix laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Take all the time you need. My fleet is not going anywhere." The communication channel closed, and Sira turned to her bridge crew. Every face showed the same calm determination. They had all volunteered for this mission, knowing it would likely be their last. But they also knew their sacrifice would serve a greater purpose. "Signal all ships," Sira ordered. "Execute Operation Revelation." Captain Heon Jung activated the quantum transmitter that had been hidden in the ship's core. The signal went out across the galaxy, reaching every human vessel, every secret facility, every hidden installation. After 30 years of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. Throughout the Rigel system, space began to change. What had appeared to be ordinary asteroids started to shift and transform. Ancient-looking space rocks began to unfold like massive flowers made of metal and energy. The aliens watching from their ships felt their first stirrings of unease. "What is happening?" demanded Counselor Vex, his reptilian scales turning bright red with alarm. The asteroids continued to transform, revealing their true nature. Each one was a planet-sized warship, carefully disguised and positioned throughout the system. Their hulls were made from materials that seemed to absorb light itself, giving them an otherworldly appearance. Weapon systems emerged from hidden compartments, each one larger than the biggest Council battleship. "Impossible," whispered Ambassador Thrix, his 4 arms trembling with fear. "The humans do not possess such technology." War Master Crix stared in disbelief as more and more of the massive ships revealed themselves. What he had assumed was an empty star system was actually filled with human warships, each one the size of a small moon. The alien armada, which had seemed so impressive moments before, now looked like a collection of toys scattered among giants. Admiral called out sensor operator Mira Cho from the Endurance. "All Titan-class vessels are reporting ready status. We have 150 ships in position." Sira nodded with satisfaction. The trap had been perfectly executed. The Council had walked directly into the most sophisticated ambush in galactic history. Every move had been calculated, every detail planned years in advance. "Open communications." "To all Council vessels," Sira ordered. Her image appeared on screens throughout the alien fleet. The woman who had seemed so humble and defeated moments before now radiated confidence and strength. Behind her, the bridge of the Endurance revealed its true nature as holographic disguises fell away. showing advanced technology that made Council systems look primitive. War Master Crix, Syrah began, her voice carrying across the system. You wanted our surrender? Instead, you will witness our revelation. For 30 years, humanity has been preparing for this moment. We have endured your restrictions, your contempt, and your treatment of us as inferior beings. No more. The alien ships began to panic as their sensors finally registered the true scope of what surrounded them.
Oh.
The quantum masking systems that had hidden the human fleet were powering down, revealing energy signatures that exceeded anything in the Council database. The humans have been deceiving us, Crix realized, his voice filled with growing horror. All this time, they have been building a secret fleet, not just a fleet, Syrah corrected. A force capable of reshaping the galaxy. Each of these vessels possesses the firepower to destroy entire star systems. Each one is operated by consciousness-linked crews that think and act as one. You have spent centuries believing yourselves to be our superiors. Today, you learn the truth. The nearest Titan-class vessel, the massive ship commanded by Admiral Hannah Kim, began to charge its primary weapons. Energy patterns, unlike anything the Council had seen before, began to dance across its hull. The space around it seemed to bend and twist as the ship's exotic matter generators came online. This is impossible, Crix repeated, his confidence crumbling. How did a primitive species develop such advanced technology? We learned from our mistakes, Syrah replied. Studied your weaknesses. We prepared for this day while you grew complacent in your assumed superiority. The galaxy is about to change, War Master. The question is whether you will adapt or be swept aside. The human fleet powered up their weapon systems, creating a light show that illuminated the entire Rigel system. The trap had been sprung, and the Council was about to face the full might of humanity's hidden strength. War Master Crix could not accept what his eyes were showing him. The human fleet that had appeared pathetic moments before was now revealed as the most advanced military force in galactic history. His pride and the pride of 12 species demanded action, even in the face of impossible odds. All ships, attack formation, Crix commanded through gritted teeth. These humans may have surprised us, but they are still outnumbered. We will crush them with superior firepower. The Council Armada responded to his orders with practiced efficiency. Thousands of alien warships moved into battle formation, their weapons charging with deadly energy. The space around Rigel filled with the glow of plasma cannons, particle beams, and quantum torpedoes as the most powerful military alliance in the galaxy prepared to strike. Captain Taemin stood on the bridge of the lead Titan-class vessel, watching the alien fleet approach, through sensors that could detect individual thoughts from across the star system. His ship, the Eternal Dawn, is a masterpiece of human engineering that existed partially in normal space and partially in folded dimensions. Captain, the Council fleet is opening fire, reported his tactical officer, Lieutenant Ju Yin. Let them waste their ammunition, Tae replied calmly. Activate phase shields and prepare to demonstrate our capabilities. The first wave of alien weapons struck the human fleet with devastating force. Plasma bolts that could melt through asteroid hulls, particle beams that could slice planets in half, and quantum torpedoes that could destroy entire moons all converged on the Titan-class ships. The Council commanders watched their displays with satisfaction, certain that no technology could survive such overwhelming firepower. The weapons passed harmlessly through the human ships as if they were made of empty space. Counselor Vex, his scales turning white with shock. Our weapons are not connecting with their hulls. Dr. Yuna Lee, now serving as Chief Science Officer aboard the Eternal Dawn, monitored the dimensional phase generators that allowed their ships to exist in multiple realities simultaneously. The Council weapons are operating in only 3 dimensions, she explained to her colleagues. Our ships exist in 11. Their attacks cannot reach us. Captain Tae Min opened communications to the Council fleet. War Master Crix, your weapons are ineffective against our technology. We offer you one opportunity to surrender peacefully. Never, Crix roared back. All ships, maximum firepower. Concentrate all weapons on a single target. The entire Council Armada focused their attacks on the Eternal Dawn. Every weapon system from 12 different species poured destructive energy into the space where the human ship floated. The combined firepower was enough to destroy a small star, yet the massive vessel remained completely unharmed. Enough, Tay announced. We have shown mercy. Now we demonstrate strength. The Eternal Dawn began to charge its primary weapon system. Energy patterns that violated known physics danced across its hull as the ship tapped into the quantum foam that underlies all reality. The space around it began to bend and twist as gravity itself became a tool of war. Fire, Tay commanded. A beam of pure gravitational force lanced out from the human ship, striking the Council flagship directly. The massive dreadnought that had been the pride of the Dominion fleet simply ceased to exist, its atoms scattered across space as if it had never been built. One ship destroyed, reported Engineering Chief Wan Kong from his position deep within the Eternal Dawn. The gravity cannon performed exactly as designed. The Council fleet fell into chaos as their most powerful vessel vanished without a trace. The other alien commanders had never seen weapons that could manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. Their understanding of physics could not explain what they had witnessed. How is this possible? Demanded Ambassador Thrix, his arms shaking with terror. The humans were primitive when we found them. They could barely achieve faster-than-light travel. Dr. Yuna intercepted the alien communications and responded directly. We were never primitive, Ambassador. We were careful. While you grew complacent in your superiority, we spent centuries studying your technology and advancing our own in secret. Throughout the battle space, other Titan-class vessels began to demonstrate their own capabilities. Captain Jai Park's ship, the Silent Thunder, activated its consciousness disruption field. The minds of alien crew members across an entire sector of the Council fleet simply stopped functioning, leaving their ships drifting helplessly in space. We are not killing them, Jai explained to his crew. We're simply putting them to sleep. They will wake up when we choose to let them. Admiral Hannah Kim, commanding the asteroid-disguised warship that had started this entire deception, deployed her ship's matter conversion systems. The massive vessel began to consume nearby space debris, converting it directly into energy that made the ship even more powerful. Each battle makes us stronger, she reported to the fleet. Our ships literally eat the battlefield and grow from it. War Master Crix watched in horror as his mighty armada was systematically dismantled by weapons and technology that seemed like magic. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were being disabled by humans who appeared to control the very laws of physics. This cannot be happening, he repeated over and over. We are the masters of the galaxy. We have ruled for 1,000 years. Captain Tay Min's voice reached every ship in the Council fleet. You ruled because you were allowed to rule. Humanity has been preparing for this moment since the day we first encountered your so-called superior civilization. Weaknesses developed counters to your technology and planned for your eventual downfall. The battle continued for 3 hours, but it was not really a battle. It was a demonstration of technological superiority so complete that resistance became meaningless. Human ships that moved through dimensions, weapons that manipulated time, and space and defense systems that made them virtually invulnerable. One by one, the Council ships surrendered or were disabled. The mighty armada that had come to witness humanity's defeat instead became witness to their own obsolescence. The galaxy was about to learn that the age of alien dominance was over. All Council vessels, this is Fleet Admiral Sierra O, came the final transmission. Your surrender is accepted. Prepare to be boarded by human forces. The galaxy has new masters now. The Battle of Rigel was over. Humanity had won without losing a single ship. Fleet Admiral Sierra O stood before the massive communication array aboard the Eternal Dawn, preparing to address every inhabited world in the galaxy. The defeated Council fleet floated helplessly around them, their crews imprisoned aboard their own ships by human boarding parties. The time for hiding was over. The time for truth had begun. Citizens of the galaxy, Sarah began, her voice being transmitted to billions of beings across thousands of worlds. For 200 years, humanity has lived under the rule of the Galactic Council. We have been told we are inferior, primitive, suitable only for dangerous labor that other species refuse to perform. Today, that lie ends. on the Council homeworld of Zentara Prime. Billions of alien citizens watched in shock as the human admiral continued her broadcast. The images showed the destroyed Council fleet, the massive human warships, and the complete defeat of what they had believed was the most powerful military force in existence. We have endured restrictions on our expansion, limits on our technology, and treatment as second-class citizens, Sarah continued. We have been patient, but our patience has reached its end. The Council will be dissolved. The age of alien supremacy is over. General Wan Lim received the signal aboard his command ship in the Proxima sector. His task force of 20 Titan-class vessels had been waiting in position around the major Council military installations. The moment Sierra finished her broadcast, Operation Cleansing began. All ships execute simultaneous strikes, Juan commanded. Target military installations only. Avoid civilian casualties. Across 50 star systems, human warships emerged from their hiding places and struck at Council military bases with surgical precision. Each attack was perfectly calculated to destroy weapon systems, command centers, and starship construction facilities, while leaving civilian areas completely untouched. The Velkan military headquarters on Calaris 3 watched helplessly as gravity beams from orbit dismantled their planetary defense grid piece by piece. Not a single civilian building was damaged, but their entire military infrastructure simply ceased to exist. "This is impossible," transmitted Admiral Voth, the Velkan fleet commander. "How did they get so many ships into position without our sensors detecting them?" The answer came from Captain Sue Park, commanding the human vessel that had been disguised as a medical research station in their system for the past 5 years. "We have been watching you, Admiral. Every move you made, every plan you created, we knew about before you did." On the Zephyrian homeworld, their crystal cities gleamed in the light of their twin suns as human ships appeared in orbit. The Zephyrians had always considered themselves the most technologically advanced species in the galaxy. Their crystalline technology interfaced directly with their nervous systems,
allowing them
to control their ships with thought alone. "We surrender," transmitted Zephyrian Prime Minister Extel, before the humans could even make demands. "Your technology is clearly superior to ours." Captain Dae Song, still commanding from his disguised cruise ship, accepted the surrender graciously. "We seek cooperation, not domination. Your people will be treated with respect as long as you accept the new order." The pattern repeated across the galaxy. Species that had ruled for centuries suddenly found themselves facing technology so advanced that resistance was meaningless. The Craxi, with their shape-changing abilities, the Hegemony with their psychic powers, the Dominion with their warrior culture, all of them encountered the same overwhelming superiority. In the council chambers on Zentara Prime, the surviving representatives gathered in emergency session. The massive hall that had once echoed with their confident declarations now filled with the sound of panic and desperation. Ambassador Rin, SEO, materialized in the center of the chamber via holographic projection, her image towering over the cowering alien delegates. She had been the human representative to the council for 20 years, enduring their insults and condescension while secretly coordinating the greatest military operation in galactic history. "Honored representatives," Rin began, her voice carrying none of the subservience it had shown for decades. "The Council as you know it no longer exists. You have a choice to make. Accept humanity's terms for a new galactic order, or face the consequences of continued resistance." "What terms?" asked Chancellor Vex, his reptilian scales showing the pale color of fear. "First, all restrictions on human expansion are immediately lifted. Second, all species will have equal representation in a new democratic assembly. Third, human technology will be shared gradually to uplift all civilizations willing to cooperate peacefully." The terms were surprisingly generous considering humanity's overwhelming military advantage. Many of the alien representatives had expected demands for tribute, slavery, or territorial concessions. "Why are you offering such favorable terms?" asked Counselor Thrix, his forearms trembling. "Because we are not conquerors," Rin replied. "We are liberators." The Council's system oppressed not just humanity, but dozens of species who were forced into subordinate roles. "We offer a better way," reports continued to flood in from across the galaxy. The Hegemony Collective had surrendered after their psychic attacks proved completely ineffective against human consciousness-linked crews. The Craxi Federation had capitulated when human ships demonstrated the ability to track their shape-changing vessels through dimensional space. Most surprisingly, many of the species that had served as enforcers for the Council began switching sides. The warrior clans of the Dominion, impressed by humanity's military prowess, offered their allegiance to the new order. "This is unprecedented," reported intelligence officer Min SEO from the Analysis Center. 17 species have already pledged support for the new galactic government. The Council's authority is collapsing faster than we anticipated. Admiral Sero reviewed the incoming reports with satisfaction. The operation was proceeding exactly as planned. 30 years of preparation had paid off in ways that exceeded their most optimistic projections. "Signal all commanders," she ordered. "Phase 2 is complete. Begin establishing temporary administrations on all former Council worlds. Remember, we are here to build, not to destroy." The galaxy was learning that humanity's greatest strength was not their advanced technology or overwhelming firepower. It was their vision of a better future where all species could thrive as equals rather than as subjects of an oppressive empire. The old order was dying, and something better was being born in its place. President Gina Kwan stood at the podium in the Great Assembly Hall on Unity Station, looking out at representatives from 47 different species. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Rigel, and the galaxy had transformed in ways that no one could have imagined. The former council chambers had been replaced by this magnificent new structure, built in neutral space where all species could meet as equals. "Fellow citizens of the galaxy," Gina began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast hall. "We gather today to celebrate the first anniversary of the new Galactic Assembly. Together, we have proven that cooperation is stronger than domination." The assembled delegates represented a transformation that went far beyond simple political change. Former enemies sat side by side, working together on problems that had seemed impossible to solve under the old council system. The Velkans, once proud enforcers of alien superiority, now collaborated with human engineers on medical technology that could extend life for all species. Director Sue Park watched from the observation deck as her latest project came online. The Technology Sharing Initiative had become the most successful program in galactic history. Carefully selected human advances were being introduced to uplift other civilizations without causing cultural disruption. "The new water purification systems are working perfectly on Craxi Prime," reported her assistant engineer Kai Min. "Their desert world now has abundant fresh water for the first time in their recorded history." "And the Zephyrian crystal cities?" Sue asked. "Their new energy collectors are producing 3 times more power than their old systems. They are calling it a miracle." The human approach to sharing technology was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Instead of keeping their advantages secret, humanity was actively working to improve life for all species. The only requirement was peaceful cooperation and respect for the rights of others. Captain Daesong stood on the bridge of his vessel, no longer needing to maintain its disguise as a simple cruise ship. The massive command center was now visible to all, its advanced technology inspiring wonder rather than fear. His crew had expanded to include members from 12 different species, all working together with remarkable efficiency. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal from the Outer Rim," reported his communications officer, Lieutenant Verithal, a former Velkan military specialist who had joined the human fleet. "What kind of distress?" Day asked. "Unknown vessels approaching the Kepler sector. The energy signatures do not match any known technology." Day felt a chill run down his spine. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for since the beginning of their secret project. The planet-sized warships had never been intended solely for the Council. They had been built for something far more dangerous. "Signal all Titan-class vessels," Day ordered. "Operation Guardian is now active." Throughout the galaxy, the massive human warships that had once hidden as asteroids and space stations began moving toward the Outer Rim. Their true purpose was finally being revealed, not to the galaxy's former rulers, but to the threat that approached from beyond the edge of known space. Dr. Yuna Lee, now serving as chief science advisor to the Assembly, studied the sensor readings. From the approaching vessels with growing concern, these ships are using technology that operates on principles we have never encountered. She reported to the Emergency Council session. What do we know about them? Asked President Gina Kwan. They appear to be constructed from living metal. Their energy signatures suggest they consume entire star systems for fuel. Most disturbing, they seem to be completely immune to conventional weapons. The revelation sent shockwaves through the Assembly. The various species that had spent months learning to trust each other suddenly faced a threat that could destroy them all. How long do we have? Asked Chancellor Vex, the former council member who now served as a regional coordinator. Based on their current speed, approximately 18 months before they reach the first inhabited systems, Yuna replied. It was then that Fleet Admiral Sira O addressed the Assembly for the first time since the transition. Her words would be remembered for generations as the moment when the galaxy truly understood humanity's long-term vision. Citizens of the galaxy, Sira began, we must now reveal the complete truth about Project Titan. For centuries, human astronomers detected signs of this approaching threat. The planet-sized warships were never built to conquer you. They were built to protect all of us. The Assembly fell silent as the implications became clear. Humanity had spent 30 years preparing not for galactic domination, but for galactic defense. Their deception of the Council had been necessary to prevent panic and ensure the fleet would be ready when the real threat arrived. Our species learned long ago that survival requires cooperation, Sira continued. We knew that when this threat arrived, we would need the combined strength of all galactic civilizations. The old Council system would never have allowed such cooperation. Ambassador Rin Essio stepped forward with a holographic display showing the defensive preparations already underway. Every species in this assembly brings unique capabilities to our common defense. Zephyrian crystal technology will enhance our communication networks. Craxi shape-changing abilities will provide reconnaissance advantages. Vulcan military discipline will strengthen our tactical coordination. The next 18 months saw the greatest mobilization in galactic history. Enemies worked side by side, sharing knowledge and resources to prepare for the coming invasion. The human Titan-class vessels served as mobile command centers. Their advanced technology coordinating defensive efforts across thousands of star systems. Captain Tae Min, now commanding a mixed-species crew aboard the Eternal Dawn, marveled at how quickly the galaxy had united in the face of existential threat. 6 months ago, these species were ready to destroy each other, he observed to his crew. Now they work together as if they had been allies for centuries. Fear is a powerful motivator, replied his Dominion tactical officer, War Leader Koth. But so is hope. Humanity has given us both. As the story concluded, the approaching threat remained months away, but the galaxy had already won its greatest victory. Not through conquest or domination, but through the realization that cooperation and mutual respect were the foundations of true strength. The planet-sized warships continued their patrol of the galactic rim, no longer symbols of human power, but guardians of a united civilization that had learned to see differences as strengths rather than weaknesses. The galaxy was ready for whatever came next.